to the morning broadcast of Channel 29. Today we're going to have some wonderful segments on different types of invertebrates.
Before we begin, you might be wondering what an invertebrate is.
Well, invertebrates are any animals that don't have spines. They're cold-blooded as well as heterotrophs.
This means they cannot make their own food and they have to heat from the sun. Some don't even have heads.
On to our first segment on invertebrates as well as the weather. On to you, Charlie.
Thanks, Alexis. Porphyria are sponge-like animals that digest food by straining it when water flows through its mouth. It gets rid of waste the same way. Good thing it rains coming Monday through Thursday this week. It's made up of just cells, so it has no tissues or organs. It doesn't have a nervous system either. When stimuli make contact with them, they do a sneezing type movement, unlike you'll be doing since all that rain will wash the pollen away. They have neither a protosome or durasome. They move for part of their life, but not all of it. They are not symmetrical. Their body plan is the acidoid plan, and they reproduce both asexually and sexually. The asexual way is through budding, like how a plant does. The sexual way is when a male gene is released and it finds another sponge. They live underwater too, so maybe they won't be able to enjoy the rain. Well, that's just sad. Back to you, Alexis and Sharon.
Our next segment is going to be about local fishing tournament and cnidaria, which is invertebrates like jellyfish and coral.
Everyone. This weekend, a fishing tournament is being held near Jackson Lake, and maybe we'll see some cnidaria. Cnidaria live in the water and have radial symmetry bodies, which means they have symmetry that is based off one central point. Cnidaria has a gastrovacuolar cavity that absorbs nutrients and exports waste. They reproduce through both bubbling and gametes. They have a medusa and polyp body type. They move from one part of their life, but not all of it. They have deuterostomes as well as tissue, but they do not have a nervous system. Because of this, a nerve net interprets stimuli. Maybe fishermen could get an idea from these animals and use a fishing net during the tournament. Back to you guys.
Next up is platyhelminths, which are flatworms, tapeworms, and fluke. They digest food by taking it into their mouth and moving it to the digestive gut, which then they break it down and absorb it. It gets rid of food by its mouth or through its anus. It has organ systems as well as a nervous system. Unlike other invertebrates, which we've covered so far, platyhelminths respond to changes in light. They create protostomes and move for part of their life, but not all of it. They're bilaterally symmetrical, which means they're symmetrical on both halves of their body. And their body plan is bilateral. They can reproduce both sexually and asexually through cross-fertilization. They mostly live in salt water, but can be found in fresh water as well, which means you probably ain't going to see any of those at the fishing tournaments or in a puddle from that rain we'll be getting. Now let's go back to see what Charlie's getting up to.
So my forecast was wrong. It's pouring out there right now. But I've been told that I have to cover Anodilia now. Anodilia are earthworms, leeches, marine worms, and more. They live in oceanic and fresh waters, as well as damp soil. I hope there's none on my head. Anyway, they digest food by grinding it up and get rid of waste through the anus. They have both organs and a nervous system. They use stimuli sending it up and down to nerves that are in the body. They produce protozoans and are part sessile. They have a bilateral symmetry and are a morphology body plan. They reproduce asexually by budding or fission, which is the splitting of a cell into two cells. They reproduce asexually using sperm and eggs. Back to you guys, because I have to clean up here.
Welcome back, guys. Next up is nematoda. These are animals like roundworms. They live in freshwater and marine ecosystems as well as part of damp soil. They reproduce sexually using eggs and sperm and have a simple body plan. They are bilaterally symmetrical. They move their entire life. I wish I had that type of energy. And they have organ systems and a nervous system, plus protostome. They digest food by using its lips to move the food in, and glands in its body breaks it down. It exports waste, which is usually ammonia, through its body wall. Up next, we're going right up back to check on Brianna, who's covering Mollusca. Take it away, Brianna.
Back, guys. Mollusca, which is snails, clams, squid, and more, live in a marine environment. They reproduce sexually using eggs and sperm, have a bilateral body plan, and bilateral symmetry. They move all of their life. They have deuterostomes and receive stimuli via massage from other mollusca. They have a nervous system and an organ system. They get rid of waste by filtering it through tubular organs. It digests food by breaking it down and then absorbs it.
Next up is arthropoda. These are animals like insects, spiders, crustaceans, and centipedes.
They digest food using appendages near their mouth that move food into their body. They get rid of waste by using a body system to filter acid, which is pushed out of their body as a dry material. They have organs but not organ systems. They have a nervous system and respond to stimuli using cuticular hairs. They have protostome and move for half their life but not all. They have bilateral symmetry and a segmented body plan with a hard exoskeleton. They use eggs and sperm to reproduce sexually. They live beneath stones and logs, leaf mold, in vegetation, freshwater, or the sea.
Last but not least is Echinodermata, like sea stars, sea urchins, sand dollars, and sea cucumbers. They digest food externally, pushing their stomach outside their body and then inserting their prey inside. They get rid of waste by using diffusion to rid their bodies from nitrogenous waste, which is usually ammonia gas. They have organ systems and a centralized nervous system. These animals respond to stimuli through their nerves and have deuterostome. They move for part of their life and are sessile for the other part. They have radial symmetry or fivefold symmetry. They have a radially symmetrical body plan. They reproduce sexually by releasing the sperm and eggs into water, which is where they are fertilized. They also live in marine habitats.
And that's all we have for today. Tune in next time.
Thank you, Alexis, for the 7 years of bad luck.
Okay. I did understand. Yes, no, with our hand. I'm like getting down toward the book. We just have a single cup in the middle. We don't even have 2 cups because I was too lazy to find the second one. Yeah. That's how you do that. Okay. Did it.
There's water running down my face.